In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, to whom we all have to turn back. Honorable listeners and respectable audience, you know that we have started a series of linguistics. In linguistics, we have commenced the chapter that is known as translation studies. Today, I am going to teach you equivalence. What is equivalence? What are the types of equivalence? Listeners and audience, remember, today I will only talk about the first type of equivalence, and that is formal equivalence. But before going to talk about formal equivalence, let me define equivalence. That what equivalence is. Equivalence refers to actually the process in the translation where the source text and the target text, they will be equal in meaning. In other words, whenever we are translating the source text into the target text, the message of the target text will be similar to the message of the source text, or at least it will be near and close to the original text. This is called equivalence. Actually, Eugene Nida, known as the popular translator of Bible, has described and introduced two types of equivalence. The first one is formal equivalence. What is formal equivalence? Listeners and audience, formal equivalence is also known as word-to-word or literal translation, or it's near to word-to-word or literal translation, because the formal equivalence focuses on form, structure, and verbs. Remember, formal equivalence prioritizes form and structure and words rather than meaning. It tries to keep the structure, the order, and even the style of the source text and to the target text in the original way. And if it is not possible, it tries to keep it near to the original and the source text. Now the question arises that what is the goal of formal equivalence? The goal of formal equivalence is to keep and maintain the grammar, vocabulary, order and style of the original text into the target language. Similarly, it also tries to maintain factfulness, accuracy, and the source text. It means it converts the message of the source text into the target text, but it tries to keep the text factual, accurate, and structure form. Similarly, it also keeps cultural, religious, and historical accuracy in the source text while translating it into the target text. And it also preserves the original beauty, style, and structure of the source text. Listeners and audience, remember that whenever we are talking about the formal equivalence is mostly used such as in a religious text, legal text, courts, and contracts and treaties. Whenever we are talking about religious text here means, for example, it is used in the, for example, in the Holy Quran. In the Holy Quran here means when we are translating the Holy Quran from Arabic text to other text, it can be Urdu, English, or any. So formal equivalence is used. Similarly, it is used for the translation of the ahadith or the traditions of the Holy Prophet as well as for other religious texts such as Bible and other books. When we're talking about legal translation includes, for example, codes, contracts, treaties, and other documents related to laws, particularly constitutions. Now the question arises that what are the weaknesses of formal equivalence? Yes, we have strength of formal equivalence, that it preserves the original text, the structure, the form, even the order, and the style. And it converts the message as it is, but sometimes it has weaknesses as well. For example, it is sometimes failed when we are talking about idiomatic, figurative, and proverbial terms, phrases, sentences, or words even. For example, normally we can translate a text easily, like when we say, वो किताब पढ़ रहा है, he is reading a book. But when we are talking about idiomatic, figurative, and proverbial words, then it is fair to translate, and then the readers will not get it. So that's why those who are translators and experts in the field of translation, they say that there will be balance between the two. When the message is conveyed in literal translation in a better way, it will be more better, because to preserve and protect the style, structure, and form. However, if the message is not conveyed and there is confusion, then sense per sense translation or a dynamic equivalence is better. Even when we are talking about a formal equivalence also focuses on the grammatical structure as well. For example, if one word is noun in the original source, in the original text, it must be also noun. Or if it is not noun, at least the translator should try to keep the meaning near to that. Like, for example, when we are translating the sentence or the Arabic one phrase from the Holy Quran, let's say Ghafurur Rahim. So here in Arabic language, this Ghafur is actually noun, and this Rahim is also noun. When we are translating it into English, for example, we will translate it in like in this way: Ghafurun, the most forgiving; Rahim, the most merciful, or the forgiving and the merciful. Now here, if we are talking about merciful, the same translation is, I mean, the original message is conveyed. Similarly, we are talking about forgiving. The translator tries to be near and to be closest to the meaning of the original text. But here, if you see forgiving, it is actually participle. So here, little bit, the structure is a little bit changed, but the translator tries to be near. Similarly, if you're translating it into Urdu language, then both of them change into verbal participle. Like for example, we will say बख्शिश करने वाला, बख्शिश करने वाला, and that is मगफिरत करने वाला. So here you see both of them are changed to participle. Functioning is the participle. I means giving the meaning is forgiving. Here maghfirat karne wala means in Urdu language means forgiving. So here it is also present participle and here is also as well. However, in literal translation the meaning is preserved. But when we are talking about idiomatic, figurative, or sometimes metaphorical expressions or connotative meanings, then uh, equivalence, formal equivalence is found. So that's why the translators they try to focus both of them. I mean, sometimes formal equivalence and sometimes dynamic equivalence. Thank you.